It sounds kind of dramatic, but have you ever thought about how one single everyday word could completely derail a multi-million-dollar deal? Well, in the world of international business, it happens way more than you'd think, and the consequences, they can be massive. And this whole topic is super timely for us. Just yesterday, our team here at RuiEnglish got an invitation to run our international business communications training for a company that's deep in global trade. It was a perfect reminder of just how critical this stuff is. And that experience really just drove home a crucial truth. When you're doing business across borders, being clear and culturally aware, that's not a nice to have. It is absolutely essential. It's the difference between a signed contract and a complete disaster. So that brings us to our main theme today, one word and a very, very big risk. We're talking about the incredibly high stakes of language when big money is on the line. I mean, really think about it. You've got this massive international deal. Everything seems to be going perfectly. Could one single word really make the whole thing fall apart? Well, as one person learned the hard way, the answer is a big, fat yes. And that's because, and this is the key thing to get, in global business, language isn't just a tool you use to talk. Nope. It's a risk factor. Every single word you choose has to be managed, just like any other risk in your business. Okay, to show you exactly what I mean, let's jump into a real-world story. This is about a guy named Mateo and a misunderstanding that almost cost his company a fortune. So let's set the scene. Picture a sleek, air-conditioned office in Singapore. The tension in the air is thick. You could cut it with a knife. A huge supply contract is hanging in the balance. Our guy, Mateo Rodriguez, is sitting across from his British supplier, a Mr. Finch. Mr. Finch slides the contract back across the table, taps on a single word he's circled, and says, "This clause, Mr. Rodriguez, you've specified 500 cubic meters of number 2 grade lumber. We don't sell processed lumber." And boom, in that 1 second, Mateo's stomach just plummets. See, he's using American English, where lumber's a pretty general term for wood. But he realizes, in that awful moment, that to his British supplier, it means something very specific: finished sawn boards. He just ordered completely the wrong product. But here's the brilliant part. It's how Mateo recovers. He doesn't panic. He just takes a breath, looks Mr. Finch in the eye, and says, "My apologies, Mr. Finch. A translation error on my part. Let's amend that to timber, specifically softwood logs." Just like that, with one click professional fix, the tension just evaporates. Deal saved. So Mateo's close call is the perfect example of this problem, right? Let's break down the exact vocabulary here so that this kind of thing never, ever happens to you. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. First up, log. This one's easy. Everyone agrees it's a raw, unprocessed tree trunk. Simple. But here's where it gets messy. Timber. In North America, that usually means raw wood, like logs or standing trees. But in the UK and much of the world, it's a super broad term for wood in almost any form. Now for the danger word, lumber. In the US and Canada, it's your processed 2x4. But in the UK, it can literally mean old, unwanted junk wood. Can you imagine putting that in a contract? The difference is just huge. Okay, so let's lock this in with a quick summary. Log is raw. Timber is your safest bet pretty much anywhere in the world. And lumber, that's the one you gotta watch out for. It means a finished product in North America, but honestly, you should probably just avoid it everywhere else to be safe. So, after all that, what's the big lesson here? What's the one simple rule you can take away to protect yourself in any global deal? It all comes down to what we call the specificity rule, and this is so, so important. Never, ever, ever rely on general terms in a contract. Always specify the exact product. Don't just say wood, say Douglas fir logs or sawn pine planks. Be incredibly precise. And hey, if you just want a simple rule of thumb to remember from all this, when in doubt, the word timber is almost always your safest and most widely understood option in the global wood trade. It's your best bet to avoid a Mateo-style headache. At the end of the day, it's not an exaggeration to say that a single word can be the difference between profit and loss, between a strong partnership and a messy fallout. Precision is absolutely everything. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. We've seen how one little word can create chaos. So looking beyond just vocabulary, how can you make sure you have total clarity when you're communicating across all the different cultures you work with?